Callum's face is destroyed. He got 4 cuts around his face, one from his ear to his mouth, from ear to ear. He got one on his neck and 2 other ones. His arm is cut from his elbow to his wrist. He got over 1,000 stitches.
Callum Thomas was brutally injured during a fight in Parc Prison on Friday, which is under heavy scrutiny due to 10 deaths in the last 3 months and reports of prisoners' safety endangered by a jail that is rife with corruption, drugs, violence and terrified inmates. Callum himself is serving 13 years for a vicious baseball attack that left his victim with severe injuries, and is believed to have leapt to the defence of his brother, who had got into an altercation with another prisoner. A flit knife was produced and Callum ended up badly injured, and 2 other men also sustained injuries and were taken to the hospital. A South Wales police spokesman said the force is investigating 3 assaults involving serving prisoners that happened on Friday, adding, "None of the injuries sustained are life-threatening, no arrests have been made at this time, with the investigation ongoing and in its early stages." The fight and the prisoners' anger at the recent deaths and conditions sparked a prison riot involving around 20 other inmates. Miss Thomas, Callum's mum, claims that the riot was sparked in part by inmates' anger over the knife attack, and that her son is adamant the blade was brought into the prison by a staff member. G4S said there was no connection between the disorder involving 20 prisoners and the knife incident involving 3 men. Rian Thomas told us her son was in surgery for around 5 hours before being transferred back to Parc Prison at around 9 p.m. on Saturday. His mum says he received around 1,000 stitches, mostly to his face, which G4S also does not dispute. She said slashes ran from his ear to his mouth and to the top of his neck. Miss Thomas added that her son had lost movement in his right hand, but this is expected to return with physiotherapy. Miss Thomas wants her son to be moved out of Parc immediately. She said, "Callum's told me that since he's been in here, it's got a lot worse. It's full of drugs. The guards are taking drugs in and supplying prisoners and earning money from it. I worry he'll never come out and he'll end up dead or really disabled. I've never known a prison like it." The mum slammed Prisons Minister Edward Arger's recent claim that Parc is safe and well run. She said it's run by people who are not trained properly. They run it like a zoo, treating prisoners not like they're people, but like they're animals. I think G4S should have their contract taken away. They've done enough damage to families. It's despicable. Plaid Cymru's Westminster leader, Liz Saville-Roberts, said the privatised model had utterly failed at Parc, and that overcrowding means prisons in Wales are more dangerous than ever. Last June, a report found Parc had 1,734 prisoners, significantly over its certified normal capacity of 1,559. The party is calling for G4S to lose its contract and for devolved control of all services at all Welsh prisons. Asked whether Labour would nationalise Parc if the party won the general election, Shadow Welsh Secretary Joe Stevens said, "The recent spate of deaths at HMP Parc raises serious concerns about the state of the prison system, and I extend my condolences to every family affected. We are witnessing a crisis across our prison estate, and it's a crisis that has been made by 14 years of Conservative rule in Westminster. While the individual's death should be investigated separately, it's crystal clear change is needed." Police recently arrested a Parc employee on suspicion of smuggling in contraband. The 36-year-old man is the 4th person within 2 months to have been arrested in connection with illicit items or drugs allegedly brought into Parc. Although Mr Arger told Parliament that the contract continues to perform well, he did say the UK government had issued out improvement notice on G4S for urgent action on Parc security. A spokesman for G4S said, "Frontline prison officers across the UK provide an essential public service, often in very challenging environments. Our dedicated custody office continues to care for prisoners, in part to a high standard. We are actively tackling the multiple ways that drugs enter the prison from the wider community, while continuously strengthening our security measures to protect prisoners from these dangerous substances." Okay, so I'll give you my thoughts on this now. The cheek of Mr Arger to suggest that the G4S, who are notorious for failing on contracts, but keep repeatedly getting contracts for security, whether it be the Olympic Games or prisoners, taking people back in the wagons to and from prisons. There's been all sorts of controversies with them, but they just continuously get the contracts extended by the government time after time after time. Doesn't matter what goes wrong. And to claim that everything's fine when you've had 10 deaths in 4 months and you've got prisoners from in the prison reporting about what's going on in that. The privatisation of prisons is completely failed. Now take the politics out of it in the sense that to blame the Conservatives or Labour, they're both as bad as each other. I think Wales is Labour run, although a lot of the funding is sort of provided by the government. But both Conservatives and Labour over systematic years have been cruel, have brought out cruel policies in regards to prisons, etc. And there's one reason for it, is because it doesn't go well in the press in society if you're looking to be soft on prisons. It doesn't matter that the fact is it's been a failed, the policies have been failed in every way. We keep getting more people going to prison, there's more victims, it's just an ever increasing circle of madness.